When 3D scanning with your MetroX, you're eventually going to come up against a difficult to scan subject, like I did with my PSP. It's got some features that I can only pick up in laser mode, but other features that I can save a lot of time by scanning in turntable mode. So you have to ask yourself, do I want to scan in full field mode or in laser mode? Well, why not both? What I've done is scanned two different sides of my PSP in different modes. I scanned the front in parallel line mode, I scanned the rear in auto turntable mode. And I'm going to show you how to clean up the scan results and merge them into one clean final scan. If I can do it, so can you. Let's 3D scan. Alright, so I've already got my scans completed. You'll see I've got one labeled oops here. I did not clean the PlayStation before I scanned it. So I managed to capture all the dust and dirt on top of it. So pro tip, clean your scan subject, at least if you don't want it to look like this. Anyways, that one's fused, the other ones aren't yet. These are still very raw. So I've got the rear panel scanned in auto turntable mode. I use marker mode. To get the black to scan, I cranked the exposure all the way up to 10. And, oh, missed a spot. That's on me. But it did a really good job. You can see it did struggle a little bit here where it's thinner. That's where that reflective metal ring is. And it actually tried to pick up the glossy black, what Sony called piano black. It did its best. I gotta give it credit. Looking at the back panel here, you might have a fusion error. Come back to that. This for laser scan, raw laser scans always look rough. Don't let that ever freak you out. But this looks really good. I scanned it in metallic shiny object. It's not metallic, but it is very, very shiny. And because it's black and shiny, I had to go kind of high with the exposure, but it creates these little flyaways in your raw preview. Don't worry, that's just anytime you scan something very shiny, those little reflected parts, they just show up everywhere. Don't let that get to you. Now, the first thing we need to do before we can do anything is process the raw scan data. That means fusion. So whenever you're merging between two different scan modes, you're going to want your point clouds to be about the same density, which means same point distance. So let's see, it's recommending 0.27. I could probably take that down to 0.2 on this. It's looking at the quality of the raw data, and I got a lot of background everything on this scan, so since we're really focusing on the front panel here, I could probably take that down to 0.2. The rear panel, let's see, it's recommending 0.21. You know what? I might just go with that. I could take it down to 0.2, but if it likes to 0.21, I'm very happy with that. You'll see I've got some banding on the back here. That could come from poor exposure during my scanning. I'm willing to bet it's going to look rough the first time I fuse it, but when we use this Fusion Optimize, which you can do anytime you do a full field scan with marker tracking, it'll probably get rid of that. Let's go ahead and fuse this one first. All right. Ooh, have a flyaway frame there. And yep, that's about what I expected from that. Let's optimize it. I'm willing to bet it's going to look great after an optimize. Oh man, that button is magic. Looks like we got a little bit more of that misaligned frame. But you know, I don't think we're not actually making contact with the model. So that's not bad there. Now, another thing you can do, if you didn't use marker tracking and you don't have the option to do a fusion optimize, you can actually go into your raw scan data, and I'm willing to bet it's one of these frames here that's responsible for that. Probably over here. But if you can find the frame that caused that hiccup, might be one of the others, you can actually go into the keyframe editor, we're close, and delete it. Seeing a double up frame here. That's our culprit. That's it right there. I'm willing to bet if we come in here. Yeah, if we were to remove that frame from our scan data, go into our keyframe editor, we wouldn't have need to do that fusion optimize. So anytime you have something like that happen, if you did marker, try fixing it with an optimize. If that isn't an option or it doesn't work, keyframe editor can save your bacon. But I'm very happy with this. Got a little bit of cleanup to do, but nothing hard. Let's go ahead and fuse our laser scan. Let's use the same settings. It is a little bit finer than what's recommended by the recommendation button, but no worries there. Wow, that came out beautiful. I'm just very happy with that. Laser beams are awesome. All right, so we've got both our scans fused. They're fused at the same settings. Now we have to clean it up. Everybody's got a slightly different flow when it comes to cleaning point cloud data. Me, I like to always start with orthogonal view. That gets rid of perspective. So when you're in perspective view, you have a vanishing point where your model kind of goes to in the distance. But that can make it tricky when you're trying to clean along flat edges. So by switching to an orthogonal view, the perspective is gone. So when I'm viewing it at an incline, the faces closest to me are the same distance as the ones that are furthest away from me. And what that lets me do is easily and accurately clean up using the plane select tool. So you can see I didn't select really any of the model itself, just junk. Could I use polygon lasso? Yes, but why click 3 times when I can click 1 time? Scan, that's a laser scan, so it is going to get a little bit messier here on these sides. That's not too bad though. So let's go ahead and just do another selection. I want to try and keep some of this, but let's go polygonal. Nice thing about the polygon lasso tool is you can use the magic of Control Shift to deselect geometry. Yeah, let's get rid of that memory card. It's just a little noisy. The edges of 3D scans tend to be a little less accurate, a little noisy, because that's just where you don't have a lot of data. It's not really that bad on laser scans, but on full field, it's just because of the drop off. Oh, there's a hole. Oh well, I can fill that when I mesh it. But anyways, with full field, you'll get a bit more edge noise, and that can show up where the models overlap. Wow, these buttons did really well in the laser mode. Those are translucent shoulder buttons, and I can tell you they are not normally that clean of a capture anytime you've got buttons like that. But yeah, full field modes, because of the drop off where data is captured, it's a little bit more lumpy looking, a little bit more noise. And that's just because of the fact with full field, you've got drop off on the edges of the pickup area, versus with laser line, the data is there or it's not. All right, I'm not going to do an isolation yet. I don't really like to, well, yeah, I'm not going to do that until they're merged. This one, I do have that misaligned frame. You know, I'm willing to bet that's that same problem frame too that I was looking at before, but thankfully, you see it's not actually intersecting our model. And that gives us a very easy cleanup. Now there's a lot of unnecessary scan area here. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. There are keyboard shortcuts for the tools on the panel. I don't have them memorized. I really should with the amount of scanning I do, but I don't, so. Now, yes, I did just select some of my actual usable geometry, but fret not. It's going to be the easiest way to deselect that. You'll notice when I hit Control Shift, the polygonal lasso to plus changes to a negative, and that lets me deselect from what's already selected. Easier if we take it straight from face view. And this is another reason why I like to use orthogonal view. Unless you just align and select very tight. Let's align those two right there. Curved faces are fun. All right. Do a quick pivot around, make sure I don't have any of my actual desired models selected. Let's delete that. Now with this one, there's a lot more noise because it is a full field scan. And it still, MetroX punching above its weight, really trying to get those translucent buttons, but they kind of fall apart here. That's okay. So anytime you've got buggery geometry like that, you want to just start by getting rid of as much of it as you can. What I'm doing here, because I know these two buttons align on this plane right here, what I'm trying to do is align my selection let's see, I kind of want to keep some of this USB port. It's really these noisy edges that I want to get rid of, but that, man, that one really did try hard. gotta say, it did its best when it came to that shiny black material. Yeah, let's get rid of this too. Anywhere you've got boogered up edges. Yeah, I didn't even get any of the piano black here. I think that's pretty good though. Let's delete. Look for anything else that's really ugly. These buttons kind of are. I'm gonna leave them. If I merge and it looks horrible, I can come back and cut this out and remerge. Hey, we got a little bit of noise in here. An isolation would probably get rid of this, but if you're gonna work hard, work extra hard. I'm really happy with how that metallic ring picked up. Looked really rough in that first fusion and in the raw data, but yeah. I'm happy. All right, let's merge. I'm gonna bet these are not good candidates for a automatic alignment. Their shape is just too similar, and I'm willing to bet they're just gonna overlap. Yeah, like that. Thankfully, we can fix that. We're gonna do manual alignment. Now, anytime you do an alignment, you want to make sure you've got matching features on both scans, because those are going to become your anchor points. So looking at this here, like this screw is a pretty good anchor point. I do have enough of it left in my first one. So if I get to the center of that Phillips head, I'm not trying to get from the same angle. You don't have to be perfect, but that looks pretty good. And you'll see here, it's already bringing them together. Now, if we're going to bring them together on the plane, the minimum number of points you need for a plane are 3 points. And I want to find unique geometry that matches on both of these. Let's see. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong side. Oh, but you know what? I bet you either this... I could use the power slider or the contacts from the charging terminal. So I'll grab bottom corner of that, and because I've got that in the same one here. That's 2 points. And now let's try to find one on a different side of the device. Let's use a USB port. And you'll notice I keep orienting them so they're facing the same direction. It just makes it easier for me. Let's use the middle of that indentation right there. That's looking pretty nice. Yeah, that's looking really good. Looking at things like the slider here for the UMD tray, the USB port, screw holes, power slider here on the side. Yeah, that's great. So let's generate that. Let's go ahead and run an isolation pass now, because we do still have some points flying out. Default's 15%. If you've got disconnected geometry, like on full-size controllers, I've had problems with analog sticks getting caught by that. You just drag it down, like even 0.05 is fine. Yeah, it tried its best with that button, but full field just is not your friend when it comes to translucent surface. It did its best though. I gotta give it credit. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Now, something I've noticed when I'm merging laser and full field scans is on the merge scan, the laser one looks softer in the point cloud. I don't know why that is, but when I come in and mesh it, that cleans up. Let's go just a little. Now let's stick with what it recommends. Let's do hole filling though, because I'm a little bit upset that I missed that hole right there. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. I can almost make out the face button icons. Oh, it actually, yeah, I can see the square. But look at that. We've got a successfully merged scan, 2 different scan modes. Came out great. I'm very happy with this. And it's just, that goes to show you, if you've got, I've gotten better on the D-pad, but it's got the weird translucent surface over it. If I'd used scanning spray, that wouldn't have happened. Anywho, I digress. If you've got a subject that's got some features that just don't work well in full field, capture the rest of your subject in full field, and then use the laser modes to just pick up the parts that are hard to get. That's really all you need to do. And then you can save yourself a lot of time, get that extra crispiness that you get from a good full field scan, but then get that just reliability and accuracy of lasers all in one. It's easy to overlook, but it makes a heck of a difference. So give it a shot. I'm willing to bet it'll work well for you as well. And if it doesn't, you can blame me. But anyways, I hope you learned something. I hope you found this mildly useful. If you didn't, I'm sorry. If you did, let me know. Other than that, take care of yourself, get out there and go 3D scan something.